The seventh book. 1. Recognizing wickedness. Wickedness is something you've already seen in the world many times. When something happens that could upset you, remember that it's not new. It's the same kinds of things that have always been around. The same stories, struggles, and emotions. There's nothing new under the sun. All things are temporary. 2. Keeping philosophical resolutions alive. If your philosophical beliefs or resolutions start to feel dead or ineffective, don't worry. You have the power to keep them alive by continuing to focus on the right thoughts and truths. Whatever happens, remember to hold on to your reasoning and approach it with a clear mind. This way, you will remain peaceful and unaffected. 3. Living again. Imagine being able to live your life again, seeing the world just as you have already seen it. What would you do? We often chase after the same things, like fame, material possessions, or conflicts. But life is fleeting, and the real value comes from how you handle these things with a calm and rational mind. The worth of things is determined by the importance we give them, so aim to value only what is truly meaningful. 4. Understanding words and actions. Words and actions must be understood individually. Take the time to fully grasp the meaning behind each word spoken and each action taken. Just as you consider the proper use of your actions, do the same with words, making sure you understand them in their true, natural sense. 5. The role of reason and understanding. Always ask yourself, is my reasoning sufficient for the task at hand? If so, use it without seeking praise or attention. If not, accept help from others who can contribute. Your focus should always be on what's best for the greater good, not on personal glory. Remember, many who were once praised are now forgotten. Don't be ashamed to rely on others if needed to accomplish something worthwhile. 6. Don't worry about the future. Don't let the future worry you. If something is meant to happen, it will, and you will face it with the same wisdom that helps you deal with the present. Everything in life is connected and part of a greater whole. There's a natural order in the universe, and everything plays a role in it, from the smallest particle to the greatest being. 7. The temporary nature of material things. Material things are fleeting, and they will eventually return to the greater whole. The memories and fame we seek will be swallowed up by time. What matters is not the pursuit of material or transient things, but understanding the deeper nature of life. 8. What is natural and reasonable. For a rational being, actions are both natural and logical. Everything you do should align with nature and reason, as they are the foundation of how you should live. 9. Straight by nature. Things are straight by nature, not because they were made straight. This means that the order and structure of the world are inherent, and we are merely aligning ourselves with that natural order. 10. Unity in diversity. Just as various parts of the body work together, humans, though dispersed, are part of one greater whole. Think of yourself as a member of a larger community of rational beings, not just as an individual. If you see yourself as merely a part, you haven't yet fully embraced the idea of acting for the common good. True kindness comes from the understanding that doing good for others benefits yourself as well. 11. The impact of external events. What happens outside of you can only affect you if you allow it to. If something happens that might trouble you, remember, it's not the event itself that causes harm, but how you perceive it. You have the power to choose how you react. If you see no harm in what's happened, then you're not affected. Your mind has the power to avoid unnecessary suffering. 12. Be good for yourself. Whatever others do or say, stay true to your own nature. Be like gold, emeralds, or purple cloth. They remain true to themselves regardless of others. You should act according to your values, not because someone else expects you to, but because it aligns with who you are. 13. Trust your understanding. Your mind, when it's guided by reason, doesn't cause itself unnecessary stress or grief. It doesn't fear, unless you let it. If your body is in pain, it can complain, but the mind is different. It should remain calm, rational, and unaffected by outside turmoil. Keep your mind in control, and it will be at peace, free from self-created suffering. 14. Happiness is inner peace. What is true happiness? It's being in tune with your inner nature. Opinions, doubts, or fleeting thoughts can mislead you, but when you recognize them for what they are, they lose their power. Just like you don't need others to tell you what your character is, don't let the opinions of others disturb your peace of mind. 15. Change is part of life. Why fear change when it is a natural part of life? Everything that wasn't once exists because of change. The wood that heats your bath was once something else, and the food you eat must change to nourish you. Death is just another change, a necessary one. Just like every other transformation in nature, it's as natural as any other process. 16. Everything is connected. The universe is a vast system, and everything within it is interconnected. Just like parts of the body work together, all beings work together in harmony. Think of great figures like Socrates or Epictetus. They too were once here and are now part of the larger flow of life. Recognize that everything passes, and in doing so, it returns to the greater whole. 17. The constant flow of life. Consider the material world. What was once a horse is now a tree, and then a man, and then something else. Everything has a brief existence before it changes into something new. The process of dissolution is not a loss, but a continuation, just as your body will one day return to the earth. 18. Let go of anger. Anger is unnatural and often reflects a fear of death. However, even if anger were gone from your life forever, you still need to understand that it goes against reason. If you maintain a clear conscience and live according to reason, you won't need anger to fuel your responses. Remember that everything you see is temporary, and nature will soon change things into something new. 19. Understanding the actions of others. When someone wrongs you, consider what they believed to be right when they acted. If they thought they were doing good, how can you be angry? Either you too have made the same mistakes, or you understand they were acting out of ignorance. In both cases, compassion is the proper response. 20. Appreciate the present. Don't obsess over the future, but focus on the present. The things you currently have, if they were gone, would you miss them? By learning to appreciate what's here right now, you can avoid becoming overly attached to them. True contentment comes from within, not from external circumstances. 21. Clear your mind and live simply. Clear your mind of unnecessary opinions and desires. Focus on the present moment and the actions you are taking. Evaluate everything that happens and separate what is truly important from what isn't. Cultivate a love for humanity and a deep respect for the divine order of the universe. Live with simplicity, focusing on virtue and avoiding unnecessary distractions. 22. Everything happens for a reason. Everything in life happens according to a certain order and purpose. Whether it's something as grand as the universe or as simple as our everyday actions, there's a reason behind it all. Even when we face difficult situations like death or pain, we can find peace. Death may lead to the end of suffering, and pain that lingers must be something we can endure. Our minds can stay calm, as we can choose to disconnect from the body's suffering and maintain inner tranquility. Ultimately, our understanding and peace are not harmed by what happens to our bodies. Just like how past events are quickly covered by new ones, life moves on, and so must we. 23. Plato's wisdom on life and death. Plato teaches that someone with true strength of character, who reflects on the past, present, and future, will not fear death. When we understand the flow of life, death is just another part of it, not something to dread. 24. Antisthenes on true nobility. It's noble to do the right thing even if it means being criticized. We shouldn't let external appearances control us, nor should we neglect our own mind and spirit. Just as we would dress the body well, we must also care for and cultivate our minds to reflect our true worth. 25. The wisdom of poets and thinkers. Anger and resentment toward things outside our control don't help us. Life is unpredictable, and many things are beyond our influence. Instead of fighting the inevitable, we must accept that everything happens for a reason. Even when faced with misfortune, we can look to those who've gone through the same trials and learn from them, as they too were once here, but now are gone. 26. Plato's view on life's priorities. Plato suggests that a person of worth should not focus on life or death as major concerns. Instead, they should focus on living a virtuous life and acting justly. In his view, the true goal is not to preserve life, but to live well, focusing on kindness, wisdom, and honor. We should accept the inevitable and strive to live with integrity while we can. 27. Reflecting on the past and future. We can learn from past events, and by looking forward, we can see that life will continue in much the same way. Whether we live for 40 years or 10,000, nothing truly changes. Everything in the world comes and goes in cycles, and we must accept that all things are temporary, returning to where they came from. 28. Comparison with others. If someone is stronger or more skilled than you, so what? True worth lies in other qualities such as generosity, patience, and how we handle challenges. How we respond to difficulties says more about our character than our physical attributes. 29. Embracing what comes your way. When life goes according to reason and the will of the universe, there's no need to feel sorrow. We should focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses to the situations we're given. Our power lies in how we navigate life with understanding and grace, accepting what happens with a calm mind. 30. Focus on your own path. Don't worry about what others think or do. Follow your own nature and do what's in alignment with your true purpose. We are meant to live for the common good, resist our base desires, and avoid rash decisions. By staying true to these principles, we lead a life of clarity and happiness. 31. Living virtuously, no matter what. When facing difficult times, consider how past people have handled similar situations. Have they grieved and complained, or have they found a way to make good use of their trials? Life is fleeting, and all things pass. Focus on making the most of each moment, striving for virtue, and living in a way that leaves no regrets. 32. Keep your body steady. Just as you can control your facial expressions, your mind should also guide the body. Maintain calm and steady movements and don't allow yourself to be affected by every small change. This discipline helps cultivate a composed and dignified life. 33. The strength of living. Living a good life is more like preparing for a wrestling match than a dance. Both teach you to be ready for whatever comes, to stay strong and composed no matter the challenges. Life is unpredictable, but with preparation we can face anything without being thrown off balance. 34. Understanding others' minds. When you seek approval or praise, consider the state of the minds of those whose opinions matter to you. Their opinions are shaped by their own understanding, desires, and actions. If you understand this, you'll see no reason to be offended or feel the need for validation. People act according to their nature, and so should you. 35. Pain and the power of the mind. When you're in pain, remind yourself that it's not a shameful thing. Pain doesn't weaken your mind or make it less capable. Even when facing physical discomfort, it's important to remember that your understanding remains intact. Pain may pass, but your strength comes from how you manage it mentally. 36. Avoid becoming like others in the wrong way. Be cautious not to fall into the same mindset as others, especially those whose actions are driven by negative forces. Maintain your integrity and don't let external pressures or ill intentions sway your own judgment. 37. The true measure of Socrates. Socrates' greatness isn't about his outward actions or how he presented himself to others, but about his inner character. He remained just and holy, focused on doing what was right in the eyes of the gods and in his dealings with others. His ability to maintain his integrity without being influenced by external forces is what made him remarkable. 38. True happiness comes from within. True happiness doesn't rely on external accomplishments, like being a great philosopher or scientist. Instead, it comes from within, from qualities like generosity, modesty, and obedience to a higher moral code. Even if you don't excel in every area, these inner virtues lead to a meaningful life. 39. Facing challenges with a calm mind. No matter the challenges or criticisms you face, you can remain calm and steadfast. Whether it's criticism from others or personal pain, nothing should disturb your inner peace. The mind has the power to embrace all circumstances and remain in control, accepting whatever comes with grace and the understanding that it serves a greater purpose.